was an intern when I first started working on wolves, and that was almost 30 years ago. But I was still the newbie on the block when the wolves were reintroduced, for the most part. I still feel like a little kid, and I'm not. But these guys are the greats here, and they are the ones that helped bring wolves back to Yellowstone National Park and to Central Idaho. I was lucky to be in the Idaho portion of it. But I'd like to have them introduce themselves, and then we're going to have a few words from different people, and then at the end, if you guys have some questions, we might be able to do that too. And we're also very fortunate to have Mr. Goddard to join us today from the Blackfeet tribe.
Yes.
And he's going to help with a blessing for the wolves, because we know, all of us know, how much they need it, and how much we need it, really, so that our relationship is right with them. So, with that, which one are you guys going to
my objective is to be brief and respectful for this moment in time in front of the Roosevelt Arch, commemorated by a great conservationist president. And I try not to be superstitious or mythological, but I think the wolves did all of the work this morning. That was one of the better appearances in weeks, I understand, and we appreciate all of the people who are out ahead of us on the field trip to spot those wolves, line it up, and make it be a memorable morning. And so perhaps that's the most important thing to say is 20 years ago that was not possible, and now it is. And wolves are across the northern Rockies. That's important, but so is Yellowstone. And so I think that it's wonderful, too, that this has been a journey that all of you have participated in on. And so on behalf of Yellowstone National Park, at least for the implementation stage, because bosses, colleagues of mine preceded me, we have felt your presence and it's been appreciated. But I really would want to draw attention to what the morning was about mostly, is it's been a long time goal of the National Park Service to restore natural conditions. You could not have done that without what we saw this morning. For your part, thank you. And then, I'm sorry, the person who should have gone first is one of the key players in Yellowstone National Park, who's now retired, John Varley.
John Varley retired. Wolves did me in. Well, it seems like very much like a morning like it was in 1995, the year January 12th. Which is, by the way, Mrs. Varley's birthday. And which just proves that the stars aligned. And memorable in so many ways when the kids just silently stepped up out of their school desks at the school here in back of it and walked up here to see that trailer full of wolves come. I mean, it certainly stunned the teachers, and it stunned us when they started trailing up. But and our Indian brothers were here, and a few tourists, and a lot of parkies, and gosh, it was quite a morning. And how it happened, I'm not sure I can ever explain, because it's been repeated many times in yesterday and today that it was an alignment of a lot of different people, people that you wouldn't ordinarily associate with a conservation event. We couldn't have done it, for example, without Senator McClure from Idaho, and he was never known as an environmentalist, but he was with us on this, and Director Mott of the National Park Service, just an 85-year-old genius in a lot of ways, and Bruce Babbitt, and the Interior Secretary, and people like that. But it was Bob Barbie, Superintendent Bob Barbie's leadership that there were times when he wasn't sure, but he stuck with us, and he was key. When you add all of that up, and including many of the people who were standing here, I mean, the list is hundreds of people that contributed to this effort. We were fortunate to lead it, and it has been a complete joy to me to watch all of it unfold here at this very special place. Thank you for coming.
We'll start off and turn this in and work our way down. And then I've got one more little poem from a woman who's not here, who was my predecessor, basically, and Renee Aston, who was with the wolf hunt. Her single focus was to get wolves back on the ground here. So she sent a poem because she couldn't be here today, but she wanted to share it.
Jim Halfpenny. I was fortunate to work with initiation of the first winter study and the computer mapping, developing slides and maps that we used early on.
Well, I remember January 12th quite well in ways. I was carrying the second of the several shipping containers containing wolves. They weighed 50 pounds per hand. Because the shipping containers were 100 pounds, the wolves were another 100 pounds. And so it was a bit of a load, but I was right behind Superintendent Mike Finley, and ahead of him was the Secretary of Interior. And Jim Pico took a memorable picture of me. Mike Phillips, the project leader, had just told me to where to tell the Secretary of Interior to put a this container of wolf with one wolf in it, where to put it and how to put it. And so his picture is of me telling the Secretary of Interior Now, another memorable moment was sharing a cup of oolong tea with Molly Beatty, who died shortly thereafter. Oh, Norm Bishop. I gave one of our guests a way to remember my name. If you're from northern France, you're called a Norman. If you're a higher member of the Church of Northern France, you're called a Norman Bishop.
My name's Carter Niemeyer. I wasn't here at this location. 1995 and 1996 both, I was a member of the capture team riding in the helicopters. We were darting the wolves and bringing them into the processing centers for the people to ear tag them and put collars on them and even put toe tags, which ones are going to go to Idaho, which ones to Montana.
80 degrees lower than what it was when we were unloading.
It's breezy up there, but very happy to be a part of the team both years. And just a quick reminder, I live in Boise, Idaho, and the wolves are going into Oregon and Washington, Utah, and California.
Hi, my name's Carrie Bucky. I came onto the project mid-1995. I was here for the second year of the reintroduction effort. Worked on the project for a number of years and did my master's basis here, and I feel super fortunate that Mike Phillips at the time and Doug hired me and brought me on, and I feel very blessed.
Hello, my name is Jeff Guernsey, and I was on a wolf project for 15 years. Somehow, Doug decided to take a chance on me back in 1995, and it stuck, and it was an incredible experience. Just honored to be a part of it. I was the program assistant for 13 years, biotech, carcass clean, eating wolves sometimes, then mother. That's you. So, just honored to be here.
Nathan Barley, and I would love to share a quick little anecdote. First of all, it's great to be part of this group, very esteemed people that did a lot of the upfront work, so I just kind of came in and picked it up from there and have been involved since then. It's great to look out on this group and recognize so many familiar faces that really treasure the fact that wolves are here on the ground and celebrate that almost every day. And I'm happy that Timmy and his family got connected with this event too. But this, going back 20 years ago, I was a volunteer, as many of these people were, working for $7 a day doing the wolf recovery stuff. It was a great beginning. And there was a time in 1995 that was very early on where wolves had been released and they were free roaming in the park, and I got to go out as part of my duties to track them, to radio track them, as you're all kind of familiar with, I'm sure. But I'd done a lot of that work, loved watching wildlife, had many wildlife encounters, but I'd never seen a wolf in the wild. And so when we get out there, we tracked what was at the time the Rose Creek Pack, and we saw them. And when I first saw them, I think that many of you can relate to this experience. It's almost otherworldly. It was like, oh my gosh, these animals are so incredible. and it really, I was really taken aback. I was in awe. I wanted to sort of take in every single detail of that moment for as long as I possibly could. But being that I was with Mike Phillips at the time, who couldn't be here, he's like, all right, we're done, let's go. Got more work to do. So, Mike, it's like, yeah, very much directed to the point. But that was my first wolf sighting, and since then, I think I've shared a very similar moment with thousands and thousands of individuals over the last 20 years, and I do assure you that each time it's another celebration of the fact that they're here. So that's what I wanted to say.
I'm Dan Staler, and I was also not here like some of the others at the very beginning. I came in late with all the hard work we've done in '97, and we did still have wolves in pens at that time, some management wolves, but have been very fortunate to be involved here as a scientist, working closely with Doug, Dan, Nathan, Carrie, Dad, and many others here under John, and I've had a great opportunity to be part of understanding their ecology, their behavior, their genetics, and hope to be here a long time. And I think the story is continuing to become even more wonderful. As Carter mentions, we have wolves expanding elsewhere, and I think that's a true celebration and symbol of the success of what happened here in Yellowstone and Idaho. And it's a privilege to be part of that. And also back to all of you who, over the years, have given so much support to what we do as scientists, as managers here, trying to understand wolves, try to protect wolves, try to meet all the different values and demands of our public about wolves. And so heartfelt thanks to all of you as well for your role in this story.
My name's Dan McNulty. My story begins in November 1995 with wolves here in Yellowstone. So my job was to work with Nathan and Jim Halfpenny and Doug Smith, monitoring the wolves after they were released in '95. And I've been involved ever since then in various capacities. I'm currently a professor down at Utah State University, and I have grad students now doing research here in the park along with Dan and Doug. And as Carter said, the story unfolds. We have Yellowstone wolves coming down to Utah, and you know, it's really going to be interesting what happens in the next 20 years, where we're all going to be at. So again, it's an honor to be here, and thanks very much for having me.
Thank you. United States, they have wonderful people looking after them. The wolves that are outside the park boundaries, though, there's a whole different world out there. Anybody and everybody that can help protect those animals, we need it. We've seen so much loss in the last few years since the federal delisted. We know that this is a special place. It's an incredible place for wolves. They deserve, they shine, their song is part of the landscape here now. And it's thanks to people who are standing with me that really made that happen. So Renee sent this to you guys. I hope you can hear it. It's a poem called To Be of Use by Marge Percy. She said she would like me to read it to you, but she also had everyone on her staff actually read this before they started. That the people I love the best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shadows, and swim off with sure strokes, almost out of sight. They seem to be natives of that element. The black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what it has to be done, again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who stand in line and haul in their places, who are not parlor generals or field deserters, but move in common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud, botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust, but the thing worth doing well has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real. This is the work that is real.
The entire team typified that sort of work ethic than Wayne Brewster, who bailed out on us this morning. But I just want to recognize him in this crowd because he was my boss. He was chosen by John to be the quarterback for the operation to get wolves in, and he was magnificent. I can't say I admire any person any more than I admire Wayne Brewster. So here's
I think what we'll do now is turn it over to Jimmy to do his part with the blessing for the wolves. He's kind of part of many of these events where it's about the wildlife and our relation to them, and I think there's nobody better to speak for them. Jimmy St. Goddard from the Blackfeet Nation. So please feel free to show for everyone.
We'll warm you up, so warm up. Didn't get cold till 550 years ago. It was up by Edmonton, where the first Maximilian's grandson came. He was a surveyor at the Hudson Bay. And the chieftain, they thought he was a god because he was white-skinned. And that's what we call Nopikon, the white god. And we found out that the white man wasn't a god, so we called him a white man now. That's what Nopikon means. And the chief couldn't figure out why he was getting cold. What was wrong with him? Because we never got cold for 42,000 years old. 42,000 years. That's how long we've been here with Magui. Magui is the wolf. Our friend Magui in the Blackfeet is our friend and our protector. In the middle of the circle with the people, the animals, then the buffalo, Iniwa, then outside was Magui. The buffalo used to push there. Whoever God chose or he chose and said, God, I'm going to go give myself to Magui. You can't separate the buffalo and the grizzly bear in Magui. The chiefs back 500 years ago couldn't understand what the Frenchman was doing because he kept putting on robes, putting on skins. It was winter time. Then finally, after 10 days, he was watching them take their clothes off, go out naked and lay in the snow for hours and hours, and come back, put their clothes back on. And finally, they gave him to the medicine man. The medicine man took him for a month and came back. So after 42,000 years, it was the first time, 550 years ago, that we heard this word, and the first time in the history of the Blackfeet, 42,000 years, Istuyi. Istuyi. Cold. We never got cold, the Blackfeet, until a culture bring it to us that got cold. So that ties in with what these people, and the bright people 20 years ago, my two brothers, Curly Bear Wagner, Thomas Heavy Jr. was here with Mr. Babbitt. These are the people that taught me. I'm soon to be the chief of the Blackfeet. I'm the spiritual chief, but really I'm nobody. Because they look at this wolf out here as nothing when it comes across this imaginary boundary. There's a 4-letter word here that is the most amazing word in the whole universe. It's L-O-V-E. We love that Magui so much. And they put these two initials, D and R, in front of these people's names, so they know who doesn't love him and who loves him. These are some of the most smartest, amazing people on earth here. So we're going to use them to help the people with the initials. But you cannot, I'm speaking English, but in my heart I'm speaking Blackfeet. This is Iniwa, legal name Iniwa. This is Magui, the night owl and the ancient buffalo laying there. That's his legal name. That's my 2-year-old son. My oldest son is 37. He's older than me. But I'm warming you up because there's nothing like this going on this planet right now. We're celebrating Magui, the protector and the friend of Kwan, man, that dreamt when those Magui would come across that boundary, it would all be all right. But I'm going to pray in Blackfeet, and I'm going to ask Susanna if she'd hold this, because she seems like one of the leaders. The females are always the leaders. They're the doers. And we're a whole pack here. I'm not the alpha. I'm the guy in the back praying. But I want to pray because the love I feel, I can't contain it. It's so amazing to see the brightness by this Mr. Roosevelt's arch. They named it after him. But I'm going to pray. But I'm going to pray for your children. Because your children are going to be out of college in 20 years, the next 20 years. Because there's not going to be nothing like this confusion on the other side of the boundary. It's going to be okay. When they close my casket, or any of these men or these women's caskets, they're going to say they did it. They accomplished it. We're not going to say, oh, we closed their casket and we're going to finish the job. They finished the job. We're going to finish the job in 20 years. Maybe not even that. They're hearing us out there. There's no other place on earth like this. This is our Jerusalem. This young man's listening. You heard that the first time today in your ears, in the history of your people. This is our Jerusalem. You don't see no rockets. You don't see no bombs. You don't feel the fear. This is our Jerusalem. And this is the way we're going to keep it, with people like this. This lady like this. I like these words that come out of my mouth. Because this is the real Jerusalem. That's what your founding fathers thought it was. They wanted to make their own Jerusalem, and they did make it. But nobody told them they did. So I'm here to tell you where you come from. This is your Jerusalem now. Don't be running back over there. It's time to change and make this area your Jerusalem. You're listening to history. 22 years of being sober. He's been telling me to help the Euro-Americans. My chief, Earl Operson, my other chief, Al Potts, they sent me here. The chairman of the tribe, Harry Barnes, sent me here. I love you guys. And I love that wolf. So I'm going to change the agenda. I have that right. I'm not going to pray. I'm going to pray while I'm singing. Because this is my love song to the Ninastaku, the mountains, where he's up there. And he's going to hear me. And today, Malva said she'll bring me up. Where's she at?
I'm right here.
Okay. I'm just going to sing because I know we're getting back into Ishtui. Oh. You have the power as a human being. He didn't create you for no reason. He created you that to give you power. When you stand out here and you get cold, I'm going to say one more thing and I'm going to sing. Say, Ustui, Kika. The clouds will clear. We have weather people in our tribe. We make good weather for our sun dances. That's their job. And if they don't make 4 days of good weather, well, they're not any more weather people. Just like the scientists. Okay, I'm going to loosen up here, but I just want to acknowledge her Euro-American name is Francine, and that's Iniwa. And there's other people here I want to acknowledge, but I'm going to sing. And I forgot my drum. I don't know why. I forgot my drum. But this is my love song. And also I sing Amazing Grace in Indian too, if you want to hear that later on. Hey, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, hey, yeah, hey, hey, I want to say one more thing about Magui. You guys will learn from what I tell you. When the ships came in the late 1400s to the shores of the East Coast, your ancestors brought something. They didn't know they were bringing it. because they were running. They're running to have spiritual freedom from Europe. What they brought, in the instant Magui, the wolf, felt this, the whole culture of the wolf changed. Because you know what he felt? You know what that wolf felt? He felt fear. Never in all of creation of this earth did the wolf ever feel fear on this turtle island we call America. So think about that. Think about how one word, two words, changed the culture of this holy land we call America. Fear. They feared. They had fear when they came. They were on the boats, months sometimes. They brought that here. When that wolf felt that, and science also, it changes us. It even changes the makeup of our molecules inside of us. So as today, we begin to not fear anything, because we are the freest on this earth. We brought that to Magui, that fear. Now he behaves in ways that we never, the true beauty that we wanted to see him, we don't get to see it. Because he feels that. When these wonderful scientists go out there and try to love him. So when you go out there and try to look at him, tell him in your own self you don't fear him, he'll come over. He'll visit you. He'll acknowledge you just the way you're loving him. These are the secrets of my people, which I was told I was the one to bring them out. I'm tired of seeing the children ending up the way they are. But the reason I come here is not because of recognition or because of money. It's because I love Mother Earth. I love the people that are doing this. And my sister challenged me. She said, you're going to be around some of the most amazing people there is, Jimmy. What are you going to tell them? Well, I'm here. Whatever you need, whatever you want to ask. I'm a scholar. I'm a calculus. I got 2 doctorates. But I'm here because I want to see America be what it was truly felt. Your forefathers felt what it should have been. And you're making history today. And I thank this lady. And this baby here, this red coat. He's the youngest. I don't know if there's another guy in the blue. It's the most amazing glue we have. It's called love. And we got to bring this together. I wish I could go to these places, go to Jerusalem and talk this way. Maybe they'll listen. But I know you're getting cold, and I just have one. I'm gonna release everything now, but I have a kind of a protocol question. Maybe you could answer that. Is after this, don't just run away, go and get in your cars and drive away. The people that are here, if you would still mingle with yourselves or whatever, and talk about how you're feeling. What could we do in the future? Maybe if we were planning better a little bit, we could have served coffee in the community hall. It brought these minds and his heart together. Because when they signed the Constitution of the United States, they severed the heart from the mind. And that's a long story. But I want people to stay a little bit and mingle and say, hey, this is a family. This is the wolf family. This is the wolf band. This is the wolf lovers. Anya, I'm done. Good work. Good work, you guys. Good work, sir. Oh, you did good work. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, man. You hold that a little bit. Healing stick. Oh, this is my, I need that. This is my Eloise Cobell, Daniel Inouye Blackfeet staff.
Yeah.
I know you guys know Daniel Inouye. Yeah. He called me his little brother. One time he told me, Jimmy, come with me to Hawaii. I'll teach you for 10 days. It's the only way I could go, Daniel, is if I bring my tribe. He said, yeah, bring them too. I said, wait, now there's 15,000. Oh, okay, wait, Jim. Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Archie and Bernard.
Oh, Archie, come on. Can I hug you? Sure. Oh. This gentleman knew my dad. He knew my father.
Yeah.
One of the most charismatic tribal leaders there was. Well, you want to travel? I get to travel. Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. You have a lot of young guys working here, huh? Yes. Yes. So you got.
All right, so let's just show a little love back, okay? So everybody, take a deep breath. We're going to do a nice, long, beautiful howl.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's so much
Thank you.
Deep breath. Let it go. Head back.
Right there.
Can we get a photo while we together?